a man of average attractiveness has to swipe right 200 times to get one coffee, and then 4 of those 5 coffees will ghost him. You can't tell women to lower their expectations, but this is the reality. When you ask a man if you could have a woman who had 80% of everything you wanted, 75% say, yeah, I'm on board. Mm-hmm. When you say to a woman, a man has 80% of what you want, 75% say that's not enough. But even look at the media. What does the media tell a woman to do? He's out. Mm-hmm. But he didn't open your door. He's not nice to his parent. Walk right out on that man. Like, it's literally every piece of media is, you don't need him. You're a strong, independent woman. Pull the ripcord. You're out. The basic kind of communication around this is, you are a strong, independent, powerful woman. That is wonderful. And quite frankly, you don't need the imperfect man. They're just not connecting. I read that on Tinder, a man of average attractiveness has to swipe right 200 times to get one coffee, and then 4 of those 5 coffees will ghost him. They will decide they don't want to meet him, or they won't show up. That means a guy of average attractiveness has to swipe right 1,000 times to get one coffee. Now, what does that tell that guy? Women don't value me. Women make me feel rejected. And then they go online and they see these misogynists telling them it's not your fault. And these men become much more prone to misogynistic content, much more prone to nationalistic content, blaming other people for the lack of economic opportunity. They start sequestering from society. I worry that we are literally evolving a new species of asexual, asocial male. And if a man by the age of 30 hasn't either lived with someone or married someone, there's a 1 in 3 chance he's going to have a substance abuse problem.
You said when you came out, which I thought was quite interesting, you said, I don't really like to admit this, she was violent, we both made mistakes, but she was very controlling. Yeah. And I felt like she called the shots in this relationship.
Well, she locked me in the flat one day.
She locked you in the flat?
Yeah, she locked me in the flat. Obviously, me being angry, I didn't know the door was locked. I've gone over, I've grabbed the door handle, pulled it, and it's come straight off in my hands. So we're stuck on a 3-story flat, and I've had to jump off a 3-story balcony. I ripped all my back, all my legs, and I ended up in hospital, you know, because she won't let me out of the house.
It's not funny, though. Can I tell you why it's not funny? And I don't want to upset any of the audience, because I completely appreciate the fact that you're here, but I'll tell you why I don't think you should laugh. If this was the other way around, and a woman was sat here, and a bloke had locked her in a flat, and she had to jump out and injured herself, you lot would not be laughing. You would be saying, he's a complete nightmare, he should be locked up, and that's disgraceful. But somehow, if it happens to a bloke, that's funny. That's not funny, is it? That isn't. That's on my team.
The reason that men mistake your kindness and politeness as flirting is because they themselves would never be kind or polite to someone they weren't attracted to.
No, many men will mistake your kindness for flirting because many men rarely ever receive any kind of kindness unless either somebody wants something from them or they're flirting. Also, there are lots of men who are kind to people that they're not interested in. So I don't know where you get that from.
This logic is all types of backwards. You can't be mean because if you're mean, then you're a misogynistic kind of guy. But then you can't be nice to a woman either, because if you do, then that means that you're not attracted to them. Or let's just say you're just nice to people. You hold the door open for a guy, or you're nice to somebody's grandma. Well, then based off of her logic, you like all those people. You can't be nice without being attracted to somebody. That is insane. That is insane. It's just like the guy here said. Most men take that for flirting, because I can count, and I'm sure a lot of other guys can count on one hand how many times they've been complimented. It sticks with you. Even if it's something as small as like, hey man, that's a nice shirt. And it doesn't matter who it's from. It's like, dude, this bro likes my shirt, man. Like, this shirt is already cool, but now it's cooler. If the compliment comes from an attractive woman, it's even more so. Let's get into some more.
There is no male loneliness epidemic. It is a loser epidemic. Men would rather be alone than to evolve and change, than to recognize, wait, maybe I had it wrong. Maybe there's something I need to change. If you can't get a woman because none of them want to be with you, maybe try and figure out why. Instead of making women the problem, saying that their standards are too high, maybe try and figure out why they don't want to be with you. What is it about you that maybe needs to change in order for a woman to want you? And they'll say, oh, there's no more good women left. Women are not like what they used to be. Women used to spend their days in the kitchen. tradition. Women only cared about taking care of the house and the kids. Oh yeah, and also women used to take our beatings. Women used to stay quiet. Women didn't complain. Women didn't think they could get better. Women didn't have confidence and self-worth and weren't able to speak up for themselves. And that suited you. That's the kind of person you wanted. If you love your mum's generation so much, cool, maybe marry one of her single friends. Women are not the problem. They have just woken up and realized they deserve better, that they don't actually need anything from these men, and they're only going to accept a man in their life if the man can make their life better. And if you cannot do that, you will not be chosen. If you can't level up and be the kind of man that women of this day and age want, you won't get to have a woman in this day and age. Your tricks are not working anymore. The internalized misogyny, the oppression, all of that is not working anymore. Women are waking up from it. Women are healing. Women are learning to love themselves and their own company. Women are learning to support and love each other and have communities and have friendships that are valuable and fulfilling. We now know that getting married and having children is a choice, that you don't have to do that, that is not what makes you successful or fulfilled in life. In fact, having kids when you haven't healed yourself and you don't know your own worth is actually the problem. It's why so many, if not all of us, have childhood traumas, have issues. What's happening right now is very normal. It's called evolution. It's happened many times before. When conditions change in the world, you either evolve to survive or you get left behind. This is evolution. Instead of complaining about it, evolve.
Wait, I'm so confused. If the male loneliness epidemic is a thing, then why don't you guys all get together and hang out with each other? Like, you could form a support group of all the lonely males in your area and then maybe meet up once a week or twice a month and you guys all go out to lunch together and you become besties. Or like, maybe you could post something on Meetup where you put it out to all the lonely males in your city and then you guys all plan a day together where you go play golf or go to the shooting range or play video games, whatever it is you guys like to do together. And then you wouldn't be lonely anymore and you would have a bunch of new friends. And maybe you guys could all get each other's phone numbers and start a group chat where you could just go to each other if you need some support, or some help with something. You could even go to each other if you need help moving or a ride to the airport, or maybe you're just going through a bad breakup and you just need that solid group of guy friends that makes you feel good about yourself. And then you wouldn't feel bad anymore and you wouldn't be lonely. My God, you would be so much happier. How come you guys don't do that? Do you not like hanging out with other lonely males? Do you not like hanging out with other males? Do you not like other males?
But when men do create places and spaces for themselves, women invade it, and then they talk about how it's not inclusive enough. You see this happen on Twitch. Twitch originally started as a place for guys to kind of just go hang out, play video games, etc. And then women started playing video games, and they should be able to. That's not the point that I'm making. But when they started that, that's when a lot of craziness started happening. Let's look at some of these comments here. This is how Fight Club started. If you're depressed, just be happy. We do. It's called a pub. They can start a book club or walk through the mall. Oh my gosh, yes. They're trying to prescribe female solutions to men, while also at the same time expecting men to act differently from how they do. And we see that in this next clip that's going to pop up.
If a guy doesn't pay on a first date, I think a lot of women don't feel safe. It feels like an insult almost that the person doesn't pay. In therapy, a young woman came to me recently and she said she went out with this guy and they went to a cafe and they got coffees and he asked her to split it, coffee. And she was having so much fun on the date until the bill came. And she was shocked. And she thought, okay, well, he must really, really have had a horrible time with me to want to not pay for my $5 coffee. And then he asked her out again. And she said to me, I don't understand this at all. So he was interested in me and he didn't pay for my coffee. And she did not go out with him again.
Do you agree with that decision that she made?
100%.
Read a fiction book. That's all there is to it. Read a fiction book. Think about what it's like to put yourself in another person's shoes. Don't read 48 Laws of Power. Don't read 12 Rules for Life. Don't read Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. And read a fiction book. That's the reason why you guys are so lonely. I'm so tired of hearing all these guys talk about how they're so lonely and how they're just so desperate for connection. And they just instead think about, I need to optimize myself to be the best, most powerful man I can be. I gotta be this alpha male. I gotta be at the top of the status hierarchy. Nobody wants to talk to you because you are so concerned with yourself. You have no empathy. You do not want to think about what it's like to be somebody else. That's why you have such a hard time establishing meaningful relationships. I could be talking to myself when I say this, because I read a lot of this self-development type stuff, but foregoing basic pro-social cues in pursuit of being high status is what's causing this.
Now, I don't know if this video was a joke or satire, but this is the exact opposite of what you should do. He's saying that there's a male loneliness epidemic because there's not enough men reading fiction books. Is that what you're saying? Ironically enough, though, the reason why I think it's satire is because he gave some great books that you actually should read. You should read 48 Laws of Power. You should read anything that comes from David Goggins. One of the comments was saying that David Goggins has done irreparable damage to the male psyche. And it's like David Goggins is the poster child for what a man can actually become when he puts in the work to get to that, the tip of the iceberg, if you will, the tip of the social hierarchy. Because women only pick winners anyways. So you could have all the social cues you want. You could be social cued out. Oh, when this person does that, you're tapped into microaggressions or whatever. But if you're at the bottom of the barrel, guess what, buddy? You're still lonely. So I don't quite understand what this man is talking about if this is serious. But I do think that this is a joke. Now we're going to look into the types of women that they want you to fight and die for. The types of women that want a traditional man but are so far from traditional themselves, it's laughable.
We'll find our way back to them. They're good.
You got a girlfriend?
Nah.
A baby mom?
Nah.
Kids?
Nothing.
Toxic ex?
No.
Are you the toxic ex?
Nah.
No. What's your sign?
I'm a Capricorn.
Oh.
Now listen, guys, I know that you're probably annoyed at the very least and probably absolutely pissed off at the very most, but stay to the end of the video. I'm actually going to give you guys solutions on what you could do. But this is hilarious, right? Imagine now you're a man, you've worked your whole life, you finally figured out the money game, you got your body right, you've done everything that you're supposed to do, as a man, and the options that are available to you are a woman that believes in this horoscope stuff, a chick that's had 8 abortions, or a chick that's mad that you haven't slept with more women. Those are your options here in modern dating in America. That's why the passport bro movement is so huge, and that's why it's gaining traction more and more each and every day. Let's get into some more clips of some women having some pretty extreme takes.
This might be controversial, but I obviously don't care. I always tell my potential partners, if I ever get pregnant with a son, I'm returning it to the sender.
Here we go.
Because I don't want to raise one. I don't care. I don't care. I do not want to have a son. I don't want to raise one. I do not want to potentially raise someone's abuser. I don't want to potentially raise someone. In this society, I just don't see a possibility of raising someone that doesn't contribute to a woman suffering in some way.
Sorry, not to be a hater, but the male loneliness epidemic, who fucking cares? Literally. What are you guys gonna do now? Pew pew up a bunch of schools? You already do that. You're gonna unalive your wife and kids? You already do that. You're gonna terrorize nations? Already do it. Start a war? Did it.
Yeah, she is pissed at white men.
I think she's mad at all men in general for very arbitrary reasons. I don't understand how she conflated those two things. You know what I mean? People are lonely. There's lonely women too, and it seems like that still somehow gets blamed on men. Men being lonely is men's fault. Women being lonely, it's also men's fault. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you have a whole group of people that you tell, hey, no matter what you do, it'll never be your fault, you can't be surprised when they start doing the most outlandish things, like getting on the internet and saying, who cares about a male loneliness epidemic? When men are blowing their heads off every single day, and loneliness is a huge part of that. You know what I'm saying? We just saw the condition. We just saw the options that men who are working on themselves have. Because, you know, those women, they don't want the average guy. They want a guy who's exceptional. So if you're a guy that's exceptional, those are your options. Imagine what the regular guy gets. You know what I'm saying? If your best options are horoscope, baby killer, and whatever else was in that clip, rewind it to watch it again. Get my watch time up, please and thank you. Those are your options, bro. Of course guys are checking out. Like, of course, you know, why wouldn't they? All right, so we know the problem. Now it's time to talk about some solutions. Okay, so first thing you have to do is you have to reframe your mind around dating. You need to stop thinking that once you get the girl, everything's going to be fine and you don't have to work on yourself anymore and you can just get fat and she's never going to leave you. That's not true. Today's day and age, if you still want to be married, if you still want to have a relationship with a woman and things of that nature, the work never stops. It never ends. And for a large degree of people, it never really gets any easier either. You have to understand that and then make the decision accordingly. How can you work on yourself? You have to work on your tone of voice. You have to work on your posture. You have to work on all of your insecurities and then bring that forth and move out in the world. You also have to understand the dating climate and how it goes. If you're an average guy, you can get to slightly above average. If you have money, you can get way above average with surgery. And if you're already an above average guy, keep putting one foot in front of the other to do what you're supposed to be doing. Now, if you're a horrible looking dude, you have to understand that, hey, look, these are the cards that I was dealt. Maybe move, passport bros, that's still a thing. But you have to do things that make you strong. You have to put yourself in situations that kind of suck. Getting up at 5 a.m. to go to the gym kind of sucks. There's no one in there. It's cold. You don't really feel like being there. You'd rather be in bed still. But that's what you should do. And here's the kicker. You don't do it for women. You do it because of them. What do I mean? You do that because if you're the type of man that's decided, yes, I do want to have a wife, I do want to have kids. No child wants a weak parent and no wife wants a weak husband. So you put all of your effort, all of your stocks, all of your mental, all of your heart, all of your spirit, and all of your soul into cultivating as much strength as humanly possible, then you will win in this game of life. Work hard, stay strong, like, comment, and subscribe. And the best way to help out the YouTube algorithm is to like another one of the videos that you see popping up on the screen right now. I will catch you guys on the next one. Peace.